I am 26, recently found out my stepfather M 48, who just married my mother 2 years ago, is currently having a xual relationship with my wife of 4 years F 28 behind my back and has been since late summer or maybe even before that. What am I supposed to do? Should I tell my mother? I'm sorry if this is a little much. I've been sitting in my car for a few hours, sorry for errors. I'm on mobile. My wife and I have been married for 4 years. We argue sometimes over little things, but I love her with all my heart. There's never been anything wrong until now. I thought we were happy, I always treated her right and got listened to her. I took her out whenever she wanted and studied with her. She doesn't work because she's getting her degree right now, so I gladly pay for everything and work overtime constantly because I wanted her to be great. She goes to classes nearly full time and spends the rest of her time home or her school library. I'm not close to my mother at all, but I see her from time to time. Recently we've been trying to reconnect, but she's just really not a good person. She was horrible to me growing up, but I tried to forgive her for her personality and actions. She has a lot of bad habits and had 2 failed marriages with really essity dudes. She recently got remarried to another man 2 years ago, let's call him X. My mother invites me and my wife, and it's the first time they all meet. Probably 4th time I've met him since they married fairly quickly. He seemed okay. Just really didn't like his vibe too much. But I gave him the benefit of the doubt because at the end of the day it's her life, not mine, and we aren't close. Last year, X asks for help remodeling my mother's house for the day. My wife suggests we stay for the week and make it a bonding thing. I agreed. I thought we could all do things together, but we ended up breaking into little teams. X and my wife really hit it off, and I'm not very good with construction renovation related things. I ended up going out with my mother a few times to eat in an attempt to bond with her. It was weird, but we tried. My wife stayed behind and helped X remodel. Her family is really involved in the construction engineering world, so she knew much more than I about how to help fix the house up. They seemed to really be close that week, aka sharing jokes and laughing a lot when I wasn't around and super animated conversations, but I didn't think much of it because I assumed she was just being nice to my new stepfather. I trusted my wife. She started going back over to my mother's house to help X out afterwards. They live almost an hour away, so it's out of the way. I noticed when she'd be coming home way later than normal and decide to take the train instead of me pick her up. She kept saying library at first before she admitted to going there to help renovate, since I wasn't much help in terms of helping my mom fix up the place. It was like once or twice a week. This started happening early this year. When the house was finished late spring, they kept hanging out, which I didn't mind. I guess that makes me stupid. When her classes ended in summer, we stopped spending as much time together, but she made nothing seem wrong. She seemed happy, our time life was the same, we were trying for a baby, everything was good, even communication. I tried to go with her to my mom's place, but she was usually with her friends when she wasn't home, and I didn't really like X's humor mannerisms. I didn't mind, I worked a lot and liked to be alone sometimes. A few weeks ago she got home late again and went to shower. I always joked that she'd use up all the city's water with how long she showered. She was in there a bit, probably 1 a.m. when her phone pings and vibrates. It does this like 4 or 5 times in a few minutes. I didn't want to invade her privacy, but that's very abnormal. I tapped her screen to see what it was and I recognized the number. It was X's. He sent multiple MMS messages with his face and nude pics of himself. There were replies from her with nude photos that were recent. Just a lot of words I haven't processed yet. I took an extended screenshot of it, took a few minutes, and mailed it to myself and put the message on unread so she wouldn't know I saw. I really wish I didn't. I really would have honestly just not have known and kept everything perfect. There are months of texts, blocks of text and photos and heart emojis. I took a few days off work the following morning and flew down to see an old friend lives in the Midwest. He's hooking me up with a month-to-month studio, no questions asked, since we don't talk much anymore. She doesn't know I'm leaving in Jan, which is when our lease is up. I told her it was a trip for work and she just smiled and told me to have fun and she'd miss me. I came back and she didn't seem any different. Our anniversary is the day before Christmas Eve. I haven't told my mother, Not sure how or if I want to. I haven't told anyone except you. Reddit. I want to get out of here and be alone and think. It's been a while, but I still haven't had the heart to go through all of the texts and photos. I feel like reading it all would make it all worse for me. I already feel broken and empty. I left my friends behind for her and started a life with her. I thought she was happy. We have been trying to get pregnant slightly before and around the time I found out, and we're supposed to go check in with the docs after the holidays. I need some time to think, and I need to know how to fix this with my wife. How do I tell my mother? I love my wife with everything, she's all I have, I gave her everything these last 4+ years. I can't just divorce, am not going to follow in my mother's footsteps. I know it all seems outrageous given he's married to my mother, but I don't have anyone else to talk to. I was supposed to be home 5 hours ago, but I don't think I can lay next to her anymore. I've been forcing myself to try and get over it and hope it just goes away, and it makes me feel more and more disgusted with myself. I'm probably gonna sleep in my car tonight. She's already called me 3 times and I'm just exhausted emotionally. It hurts ignoring her calls. I'll try to check back for any answers later tomorrow if I have the time. I'm sorry if this post was a waste of your time, but I hope you have advice. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, before you do anything, contact a competent divorce lawyer. Do not tell your mom just yet. Don't know, let it be known that you know. Gather all the evidence you can. Stay calm and pretend everything is fine until you speak with a lawyer. I say this because she could file for divorce first and you might have to pay alimony since you've been supporting her for a while. Find out your options, because I'm pretty sure this marriage is over. A one-night stand is 100% different from months of cheating. I'm sorry, good luck and keep us updated. That's all I got. Redditor 2, don't alert her, get a lawyer, ask him how best to proceed. Once he gives you the go, boot her ass out of the house, tell your mom, and fly off to your place. Thank your lucky stars that you didn't get her pregnant. Contemplate how vile of a person she must be to duck your stepfather while draining your bank account and living in your house if you ever feel nostalgic about the relationship. You never knew her, the person you imagined never existed. If you understandably can't stand to be around her without giving away that you know, maybe take another business trip to a motel for a few days while you get things rolling. Redditor follow-up, you never knew her, the person you imagined never existed is one of the most terrifying things I could imagine happening to me. Redditor 3, mate. As a fellow married man, I'm going to ask you to please listen to yourself. What would you do if you heard a friend asking you for advice about what to do if his wife had been cheating on him for months? Would you really be telling him to stop and fix it? I mean, just think about what would you be going through your head before cheating with someone. You're gambling your relationship, your partner's trust and love, your marriage vows, your future together. She thought that, she's done the calculations in her head already and did it anyway. God bless you, man, you've got a good heart, but there are lines in relationships and sometimes we cross them. But after months of being with someone else, she's so far from the line. The line is a dot to her mate. Edited for correctness of time frames. Redditor follow-up, as a woman, I wanted to add the context of them trying for a child makes this so much more disturbing to me. I wouldn't be able to sleep with another man other than my husband without literally throwing up. And in no way could ever smile at him again afterwards and lie next to him. She is in no way considering her husband's happiness as a point of her thought process. She is living extremely selfishly. Also would add he should get an STD check. She is placing his body at risk of disease on top of everything else. And she is taking his money and therefore his time to pursue her goals. This is really upsetting. I'm sorry this happened to Op. It's unfortunate when genuine love is given to the disingenuous. I 100% guarantee there are better suited women out there to raise a family with. Redditor 4, your wife doesn't care about you. Do not have a child with that woman. Tell your mother. Redditor 5, dude. You're 26. Don't try to fix this marriage because of pride. You'll waste so much of your youth trying to save something that isn't worth saving. You don't love your wife, you love the person that you thought she was. This sucks big time, no way around it. But if you try to work it out, it will happen again. It takes a special kind of a shoal to not only cheat on you, but to do it with your mom, so don't let her make you feel like garbage when she's the trash. Redditor follow up, I really like the way you said that. You love the person you thought she was. That's about as accurate and eye-opening as it gets. Redditor 6, dude, have some dignity. You are nothing but a wallet for her. Can you imagine yourself lying in so's face like your wife did? Did anyone in your lifetime hurt you as much as your wife did? Contact a divorce lawyer. Read some articles on Redditor 7, oh, my daily dose of losing faith in humanity. Redditor 8, first of all, you are not following in your mom's footsteps if you were to get a divorce. This is a horrible story, and there is no recovery whatsoever. No amount of couples therapy will fix the trust between you and her, and if she was completely fine with lying to you and manipulating you, imagine if you allowed her to have a platform in which only teaches her more about how to manipulate you all the while victimizing herself. First piece of advice, do not confront your wife about this yet. Like others said, get advice from a divorce lawyer and go from there. Collect evidence and whatever else, because you might be paying alimony considering you've been supporting you and her both. Second piece of advice, get yourself a counselor. I honestly believe you need to have a counselor in the first place, considering that you believe getting a divorce from your toxic and quite awful wife will mean that you're just following after your mother, which again, that is not true. This whole ordeal was not your fault whatsoever, and you need to realize that. After you get everything figured out with a divorce lawyer, please you seriously have to at least consider divorce considering the amount of betrayal that occurred with your stepfather nevertheless. You deserve equality in love, trust, care, and honesty in any relationships. Tell your mother, eventually confront your wife. If you need anything, I'm here. This isn't your fault, she's just beyond an awful person to do that to you. Good luck and take care of yourself. Redditor follow up, first of all, you are not following in your mom's footsteps if you were to get a divorce. This is such a key point. My mom had a few divorces and a history of marrying essity men. One of my siblings got a divorce, and I know it was difficult for him because of the family history. But it was definitely in his best interest. He's remarried now, has kids, and his wife is a great person. They're happy together, and despite the that he had to go through with the divorce, his life is much better now. There is a huge difference between marrying and then divorcing every person you date and divorcing because you are with a manipulative person.